So this is my Naval Defense Mark 18. So I actually have a couple different configurations for this gun. So right now it's on a LMT SBR lower. Now over here, I also have a lower that has a Law Tactical folder on it. Now, what that allows me to do is take this Mark 18 and make it a much smaller package. So essentially what I can do is I can take this gun, I can fold the stock up, I can put it inside of this Vertex bag, and then now I have a full-size rifle with me I can carry wherever I go. You know, if I'm going to work, if I'm going to the mall, you know, if you're going out of town, just going to the gun shop down the road, gas station, you can have a full-size rifle with you, and no one's gonna know you have it with you. Now, what I typically use this gun for is, you know, like I said, a carry gun. This is something I can throw in a bag, and I can be effective with. So, you know, if there is civil unrest, or say terrorism, as an example, you know, I'm not saying I'm gonna be out there fighting terrorists or anything, but, you know, as we've seen the Middle East become destabilized, you're gonna see a lot more events of terrorism. Now, typically, you know, people carry a pistol, you know, me included. That is going to be your primary go-to gun, but it's nice to have something you can go to and have a little bit more firepower with. So, case with a Mark 18 allows you to have a, you know, overall short package. Now, with a Mark 18, typically your effective range is about 300 yards. Now, I'm really not trying to push out past that. This is kind of more of a concealed carry rifle. This is something I can plus up to. So if the need arises, if my pistol isn't enough, this is something I can pull out and I can have a lot more firepower. So I'm gonna go over this gun here. So at the top here, this is a Surefire RC2 can. So I like this can a lot. Does a really good job at keeping the Mark 18 quiet. Now, when you have such a short barrel, you typically want to have a suppressor on it. It helps mitigate flash quite a bit, and, you know, they're much louder than like a 14.5. So, you know, my main reason for having a suppressor, though, is not necessarily how loud the gun is. It's more on what the flash suppression. You know, typically when you're shooting a 10.3-inch gun, you're going to have quite a bit of flash to it. Now, with this, that knocks it down quite a bit. I have a Surefire Scout with the 100 Concepts light cap on it. I have a full power PEC 15, a Unity tactical pressure pad, a Tango down grip. Now over here I have a EOTech EXPS3, a G45 on a Unity flip to center mount. Now I do like having a magnifier on a Mark 18. You know, even though you're not going to be shooting long range, it's still nice to be able to get, you know, PID. Now at the back here, this is a CTR stock. I have a B5 grip, LMT lower, with a Geisley trigger in it. Now, with a short gun like a Mark 18, you do want to make sure you're up to date on the maintenance. So, you know, typically, after a couple thousand rounds, you want to start looking at a couple problem places. You know, bolt lugs, gas rings, you know, even things you don't think of, like the buffer springs. You know, those wear out over time, especially on your short guns like this, like a Mark 18. It's much harder on parts. Now, I really like this setup. It does really well for me. You know, especially having a bag gun, I can do quite a bit with this thing. Now, what's cool is with the Unity tactical risers, you can run night vision with this. You know, you can use this, you know, night or day. If you have night vision on it, it basically just puts the optics a little bit higher and allows you to look through it for passive aiming. Now, when I have this gun with me out of town, this is also kind of my, my get home gun. You know, this is something I can, you know, throw in my bag, take with me. I can take it in and out of hotels, and no one's going to know I have it. Now, let's say an EMP hit, and I get stuck out of state, right? You know, I work out of state quite a bit. I can throw this on my back, and I can walk down the highway, you know, worst case scenario, and no one's going to know I have a rifle on me. You know, if it's been a couple days, and you're still not home yet, you don't want to let everyone know that you have a rifle. So if you can have it inside of a bag and you can just walk home with it, if the need arises, you can pull that rifle out of that bag. If you're walking down the road with a, you know, a rifle, plate carrier, and a battle belt on, you're going to make yourself a target. Versus with this is something you can put inside of a bag, use it to get home, and you're not going to draw a lot of attention. Now, in the case of civil unrest, this is also something you can pull out of, you know, a bag if something happens. If people start shooting at you, this is something you can work with in and out of the vehicle. You can, you know, have it with you as you're driving. You can pull the sling tight, and if the need be, you know, you can open the door and you can go to work with it. Now, the Mark 18, there's a number of things. Now, a lot of people say that this gun is outdated. I really don't think it is. I mean, especially for today's day and age where crazy stuff happens. I mean, you really just don't know what you're going to run into nowadays. Having a rifle that you can put inside of a bag and take with you is really, really valuable in my opinion. This is something that, you know, somebody starts shooting and you have a rifle, dude, that's freaking awesome. I mean, you're going to be able to put that threat down with a lot less risk using a rifle versus, you know, if I have my Glock 19 and I got to make a 100-yard shot, I'm in trouble. You know, if people are getting killed, you know, out past, say, 100 yards, good luck making that shot, dude. You know, if you have a pistol, you're still liable for all those rounds that go out of it. So, if there's like an active shooter, for an example, and you pull out your pistol and you're trying to make 100-yard shots with it, you could end up hitting somebody else and causing more damage than, you know, if you weren't doing anything at all. So, having a gun that you can take with you and pull out if the need arises is really, really valuable in my opinion. You know, there's not a lot of guns out there that give you this much effective range in such a small package. You know, if you're using a TP9, for example, I love that gun. It's really, really small. It's something you could put in a, you know, even smaller Vertex bag, but with 5.56, you get a lot of firepower. Now, I know people say, you know, 2,600 feet per second isn't that much compared to, say, 20-inch where you're getting closer to 3,000 feet per second. You're still gonna mess somebody up. It basically what it boils down to. You know, Mark 18, 10.3, doesn't matter. It still shoots bullets. Most threats are going to be within 300 yards. You know, especially out in public, civil unrest, somebody starts shooting, you know, if there's a terrorist attack, you're not going to be making 500-yard shots. You know, it's most likely going to be 50, 100 yards. My main thing with this rifle is really not a shit hit the fan rifle where society has already collapsed. Now, if society has already collapsed, I'm going to have my SR-15 14.5. That's not what this gun is for. The main point of this video is not to convince you to get a Mark 18, right? You don't need to spend all this money. You don't need to make something this fancy. Just start thinking about ways you can defend yourself. Think of things beyond a pistol. Think of loadouts. Think of what you want to keep in your vehicle. Think about what you're going to have to fight with if something happens. Now, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you like the Mark 18. Let me know what you carry. Biggest question to ask yourself is, what are you worried about? You know, different scenarios, you could have, you know, different tools. So, just a few things to think about. You guys have a good day.